What is up, everyone? Welcome to another Super Smash Bros. Ultimate video. So the other day I was scrolling on Twitter and I saw an interesting tweet from somebody named Bernard's Loop. It included the information that he had compiled of Kazuya's national results up till now in 2022, and who was representing Kazuya, who was getting the most wins with him. And you can see on screen this list is pretty self-explanatory. Obviously, Riddles. He has represents about 30% of Kazuya's results. Obviously, he's been the '1 performer. Then you have T from Japan, who's obviously been the second one. Tariq, which is a player from Germany that a lot of people he's fallen under the radar for a lot of people, but he still has lots of results, especially in the local area and the European scene. Axiom XL, obviously Akola, actually secondaries Kazuya, which a lot of people forget about. That Cole literally plays just Steve and Kazuya. Those are his characters. He plays obviously more Steve, but he does secondary. And then obviously you have Ferps and some other people on that list. But I think the more interesting point was the next tweet. He says, even more interesting, there isn't much evidence that Kazuya is a solo viable character up to this point. A substantial portion of his points, which is almost half of the ones that you could see from Riddles, T, Tarek, obviously all of these people are co-main him. They don't actually main him. Like, the only person that I see on this list that I know of that solo mains Kazuya is Ferps. He's the only person that I've seen only go Kazuya in bracket. I don't know if he plays any other characters, but the majority of other people, like Riddles, obviously he plays Terry, and he plays obviously he plays Terry, or he can play Kazuya, or he plays Richter sometimes, right? T, obviously he's more known for his Pac-Man than his Kazuya. Tariq, I think he plays Greninja or Wolf, if I remember correctly, but all of these people play a secondary character. And even more interesting is that the secondary requirement, which he specifies in the third tweet, he says that it only requires a set wand by a single other character in a game. So, which means that there are more wins. Like, all of these people, they all have more results with their secondary characters winning a game or winning a set than they do with Kazuya. Which brings me to the point of this video: is Kazuya solo viable? And do you need a character to pick up alongside him if you want to actually have results? And based on me playing Kazuya, it's almost been a year now. I think this is true. I think this pretty much shows that. I think this shows it's evidence. The only real evidence you ever need that Kazuya just is not solo mainable. He doesn't have what you need. He runs into matchups that are impossible for him to really overcome, especially when you get into high level of play where people know how to play Kazuya. They practice against Kazuyas for hours on end every single day. You know, eventually Kazuya will start to go down in popularity because he's not solo mainable, and because he has so many weaknesses which I've talked about before. Obviously, he has bad airspeed. He doesn't have a great recovery, which a lot of people haven't really recognized yet. They haven't really exploited his recovery a lot. Like, when I play, usually people are scared to go off stage because obviously up B has a hitbox, which is the same thing for a lot of characters in this game. Like Cloud, for example, he has a really bad recovery, but a lot of Clouds get to the stage pretty easily because people are scared to go down and contest his up B, which does have a hitbox. But people don't realize that you can contest it with a lot of moves in the game and just edgeguard him for free, which I think is one of the biggest weaknesses, and I think people are going to start figuring that out soon, is that Kazuya's recovery is not that great. Once you take his jump, he becomes even worse. So I think he's going to start getting edge guarded a lot more. Obviously, he gets camped very easily, especially by Steve. When we saw it, we actually did see Riddles beat Yanni in the Invitational, but I think it was because when I watched the match that Yanni just didn't really... he didn't take advantage of all of Kazuya's weaknesses. He could have literally just camped and timed him out. But I don't think people are wanting to play optimal against Kazuya. Usually when you see people play against Kazuya, they want to like get up in his face for some reason, which is literally the opposite of what you're supposed to do when playing against Kazuya. All you have to do is just play away from him or camp, and you just win the game. There's nothing Kazuya can do except maybe laser, which can be shielded and punished. The next thing is that he doesn't really have a great air game, and his ground speed is pretty slow. His jump isn't very high, which means his movement is very limited. And obviously, like I said, slingshot doesn't really help him that much, so he's gonna just be like destroyed by movement wise by most characters in the game, especially the top tiers. And there are some matchups that he absolutely gets destroyed in, like Pichu, like some of the smaller characters. Sephiroth destroys him because you can't get in. There's just so many characters that absolutely destroy Kazuya that there's no chance that he can be solo mainable. Now, what characters are good for duoing Kazuya? It's kind of varying, because obviously with T you have Pac-Man, with Riddles you have Terry. So I don't really think picking another main. Obviously you want to pick something that complements Kazuya, right? You want to pick a character that can kind of face some of Kazuya's weaknesses. Like if you go against, but there are certain characters that can still work just even if they have even matchups, which are some of the characters I think of are like characters like Roy, kind of like Kazuya, or like T plays Pac-Man, which is complete opposite of Kazuya. You're going to be going in with Kazuya. With Pac-Man, you're kind of staying away, although you can see in T's gameplay he does play an aggressive Pac-Man, which is interesting because that's not what normal Pac-Man players are like. They normally play far and away and they only go in when they need to. But somebody like Riddles, who plays Terry, who is also an aggressive character, that just fits his playstyle, but Terry is just better than Kazuya. Like Terry just has overall, he has more speed, he has a good projectile, he can get in, he can kill, he's just overall better. There's just the only thing Kazuya is going for him over that is the combo game with the electrics, but other than that, Terry's just a better character, and the fact that Kazuya is a heavy, but Kazuya just does not have the movement he needs to be able to be a number one. Like when you go against, if you go Kazuya and you're going against somebody like Leo, who can outspace you with almost every move, and he has perfect spacing, like you're not going to be getting those combos or those rookie mistakes that you're going to get against a lot of other players, especially when you're trying to do your electrics or you're just trying to get your combos out. You're going to be getting SCI'd, you're going to be getting destroyed, and you're going to need another character to switch to. I play Paulu. I'm learning Palutena as my secondary, and she might become my main, honestly, and Kazuya just might become secondary at this point, just because I've played enough Kazuya to realize that Kazuya is good, but he needs to be used in a specific situation. Like there's only certain times where you bring him out. On most stages he only has FD is his best stage, but a lot of times they just ban FD, so you can't go to FD, so you're just left with stages where you get camped, platform camped, whatever. So you're going to need that other character, and I think that proves that Kazuya is not a solo mainable character. He's not a solo viable character. There are only a few characters in this game that I think are solo viable. Actually, no, that's not true. There are a lot of characters in this game I think are solo viable. But based on these results and based on the evidence that we have, it seems like Kazuya is not one of them. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that there will ever be like a solo mainable Kazuya? A solo that gets really far, starts doing really well, better than they have been doing? Or do you guys think that, who do you guys think is the best character for Kazuya mains to pick up as their secondary, or even to start maining and just have Kazuya as their secondary? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.